Allegedly, Donald Trump proposes new child support reform bill. According to online sources, Donald Trump has allegedly introduced a new bill aimed at reforming how child support funds can be used. The proposed legislation would purportedly restrict child support usage to purchases strictly for the child, meaning funds could only be used at verified kid-related stores for items such as children's clothing, school supplies, food, healthcare, and other child-specific necessities. The bill, if passed, would enforce spending regulations by linking child support cards to a system that blocks purchases not directly tied to the child's needs, potentially preventing misuse of funds on personal expenses unrelated to the child.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Warriors, we're going to be talking about child support today, because allegedly it is out here in these political streets that allegedly our current president, Donald J. Trump, is looking at reforming child support laws. He wants to pass new laws on this, and we're going to dive into this. We're going to look at it. We're really going to take a deep dive today. That's what I'll be talking about today on Chat with me, Linda B. All right, Warriors, you know what to do. Give me that thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications, stick around to the end. Let's go. Also, I want to remind you that I am here on most Mondays through Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, doing a live show. I'm very interactive with those in the chat. Highlight your comments, and it's a great time. That's Mondays through Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also follow me on Twitter at Linda B Podcast. Also chat with me, Linda B, on TikTok and Instagram. All right, guys, let's just talk about this whole thing with the child support. I'm going to let you look at some clips, and then I'll come back and give my commentary.
Do not skip, do not scroll. Listen to what I'm about to say, man. Again, I don't know what's going on, but it says, this is an article I'm reading today. It says, allegedly, Donald Trump proposes new child support reform bill. According to online sources, Donald Trump has allegedly introduced a new bill aimed at reforming how child support funds can be used. The proposed legislation would purportedly restrict child support usage to purchases strictly for the child, meaning funds could only be used at verified kid-related stores for items such as children's clothing, school supplies, food, healthcare, and other child-specific necessities. The bill, if passed, would enforce spending regulations by linking child support cards to a system that blocks purchases not directly tied to the child's needs, potentially preventing misuse of funds on personal expenses unrelated to the child. Now listen, hear me out. Many people are praising the alleged proposal, saying it protects the purpose of the child support. Others argue it may be too restrictive for custodial parents. What are your thoughts on this alleged bill? Is it a step in the right direction or government overreach? Y'all let me know. In my opinion, y'all already know I got 2 children. So if the mothers of my children were paying child support and my kids was living with me, I wouldn't have a problem with this, because everything that the child needs, the child gets. I don't need to spend the money on my barbershop fees. I don't need to spend the money on my clothes. I don't need to spend the money on dates or taking another woman out with the money. All I need the money spent for is what my kids need. That's what child support should be for. So I don't know. Sounds like a reach, but we'll see if this is a real bill. But who knows? Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel. Ladies and gentlemen, tag people. Let's spark the conversation. Latrobe.
But you can work now, right?
I can, but
So it's no but you can go get a job, right?
I could, but I'm not going to. My rent's free. My food is free. I mean, my mom's a homeowner. We don't have to pay nothing.
Okay. I'm not going to go there with you today because you can, obviously you're able to work.
I'm able, but I
and
don't
you
want
should
to.
work, but again, that has nothing to do with me today. What we're going to do is talk about the modification of these numbers. All right. So your income has increased. It's increased about almost $400. So based on you saying that you receive about 90,000 on the high end, it
Yes,
brings
ma'am.
your gross to about $7,500, which your net is $5,465.22. That would bring, well, health insurance. Who covers health insurance?
I do.
And how much is that?
It's 110 a month.
Okay, 110. So what I'm going to do is give you credit actually for the health insurance coverage for the child. So that would slightly bring your child support down and monthly.
All right, there, you saw that clip right there, okay. And let me just say that states have a scale. So for example, if in the state of Georgia, which is where I reside, if in Georgia, they look at the combined income of both parents. So if both parents have a combined monthly income of $6,000, it goes by a scale. So whatever the scale says, and let's say they have a $6,000 monthly combined income, all right? And this is a situation where they're getting a divorce and they go by the scale, whatever the scale says, which in this case is $1,384. Let's say the person who makes the most money is making 75% of that combined income. So they take whatever the scale says, multiply it times the 75%, and it comes up to $1,038. Okay, there are about. All right, and again, this is the state of Georgia. Georgia does things their own way, and this is done by state. According to the man that just spoke, the young man that spoke first, I gotta say, I would be in agreement with that. I know the person that there are women out there that I've heard about for decades that are actually misusing the system. Usually, most of the time, the woman gets custody of the child, and if it's a single situation where the woman is having the child out of wedlock, then she automatically gets custody and automatically is going to be receiving child support payments. Okay, so there needs to be something, in my opinion, done to this system. And again, if you're talking about a divorce situation, usually they give custody to the mother in 65% of those cases, and 35% they give to the father. But that is shrinking. More and more men are getting custody of the children. That is shrinking greatly because people are looking at individual cases. Judges are looking at individual cases. I totally agree. And you should look at what is best for the child, whether it's the father or the mother. In some cases, mothers are ratchet. Okay, and sometimes fathers are deadbeats. A lot of times, again, it's 65% right now, but the gap is closing. And let's talk about the fact that there is a statistic that says that children that grow up with single fathers turn out better academically, behaviorally, emotionally. They're more stable. They have better outcomes than those raised by single mothers. I could not find the exact numbers or percentages on that, but that is out there, that men, single fathers, are doing a much better job than single mothers are. Now, I hope no single mother gets upset about that, but the only thing you can do to change that is, if you're in that single mother situation, is to do a better job. Because it looks like women are out here, not all women, not all. You've got some wonderful single mothers out there, and you've got some horrible single fathers. I mean, it can work both ways. It just depends on the situation. You have to look at everything individual by case basis. But there at one time was judges were overwhelmingly giving the child to the mother. And we see now that, according to stats, it's just not working out what's best for the child. So you all tell me what you think about this. Now, again, the money going directly towards what is necessary for the child, and you're not able to use the money for getting your hair done. You're not able to use the money for getting your nails done, or getting Beyonce tickets, or going to see Cardi B or Sexy Red or Lizzo or Glorilla. You have got to spend that money on the child. You know there are going to be some wretched females yelling and screaming. They're going to make it all about them. There's some good single mothers out there, but I'm talking about the wretched ones right now, okay? The good ones, you guys do what you do, kudos to you, but the ratchet ones, y'all need to do better. All right. And also, I pray that President Trump does something with these women that are perpetually getting pregnant outside of wedlock to receive more benefits. Something needs to be done with that. That is perpetuating horrible behavior, abhorrent behavior, and irresponsibility and stankness. Okay. I can't just find a word good enough to tell you how badly I look down on that. Now, I just don't think it's a good idea. The children are not turning out right. And I do agree that another one that came out is that taxes, and I don't know how true this is, but I got it off of Twitter, that whoever is paying the child support, if you pay child support, you are the one that gets to claim the child or children on your taxes, not the one receiving it, but the one paying the child support gets to, claim them on their taxes. So there's a lot that's been going out there, and I looked it up to make sure that is this something that President Trump is absolutely doing. There's not a specific bill as of yet, but it has been historically something that he has been talking about, which is reforming child support. So this is something that really could come out. From what I've read, it is something that has been talked about, and it is something that could actually happen. You all tell me what you think about this. Do you feel like it is fair that the money only be used specifically and directly at places that only for children, like you can only buy the children food with the child support, clothing, you can't use it for yourself? Or do you feel like it is government overreach? Everybody thinks it's government overreach when the camera spotlight turns off of the person onto the children. I'm sure the person that's paying child support would agree with that. I'm sure they would. And how do you feel about the person paying the child support being the only one to claim them on the taxes? It's kind of like, I'm not sure, because then things come up when you are the one who is the custodial parent. You're not paying the child support, but you're receiving it. You have to make daily decisions on how that money is to be allocated. And yes, we do have people abusing the system. This is around everything that Doge was talking about, cutting fraud, cutting waste. There are definitely women out there taking advantage of the system. You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves, and you are giving women a bad name, not me personally, because those of us who know how to do right, we do right. I've never had to receive child support. I'm married, but I'm just saying, guys, get it together. Let's do right by these children. And the child court system, really, if anyone is from the child court system and you happen to be looking at this video, I need you all to know, you need to look at people individually. Don't just give custody to the mother automatically. There are some wonderful mothers. In some cases, the mothers should get custody, but in some cases, a lot of cases, the custody should go to the father. Do what is right for the children. Tell me what you all think about that. And you don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select all notifications. And also remember, I am here on most Mondays through Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time doing a live show. You can follow me on Twitter, Linda B Podcast on Twitter. That's Linda B Podcast. Also, Instagram and TikTok as Chat With Me, Linda B. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, the United States of America, and march on, warriors.